Hello everyone, my name is Adrienne LeBou and I am doing a teacher training business report. The purpose of this report is to explain the importance of teacher training and why teacher training needs to be continuous and up to date. There are certain elements of teacher training: general characteristics of the curriculum, scientific ideas incorporated into the structure, description of the syllabus, features of optional components, and expected learning outcomes. Teachers need to be able to understand each of these points and be able to adapt them into their own classroom, especially the scientific ideas. Children should be working with science and math every day in different ways. It helps with brain stimulation and it helps to have the kids come up with different ways of trying to think. It also helps with the teachers and trying to get their lessons across in different styles, because it is extremely important that teachers are able to show their lessons in different ways and styles, especially for some students who are more hands-on versus than other students who actually need to sit down with a book. This gives the students different ways and opportunities to see how a certain lesson is done, and it's not just by sitting down by the book. You can actually incorporate it into other lessons, such as science. Like math can be incorporated into science in different ways. And teacher training will help with teachers to develop these skills in order to bring about the desired learning outcome that they have for their students. Here, this shows just a little image that I found about how it is important that teachers need to understand how to work different technologies, because a teacher may only have a few minutes in the day to where they can go make copies, and if that copier is out, well, then they're down for another 30 minutes and they might not have those 30 minutes. This may be on their lunch break that they're trying to make this copy. So it is important that the training also is a part of having the proper technology and the newer technology out there, so teachers aren't wasting their time where they could be in the classroom helping out the students with their different skills that they have set up or their different programs that they have. So it is extremely important that schools are actually up to date with the latest technology trends. And also teachers need to learn how to use these new copiers and these new technologies, because there's nothing worse than having to figure out how to work something that you just got used to working with another technology. Leadership is an important role when it comes to the teacher training. Most teachers are already great leaders, and teacher training will just help build up that confidence in the classroom. It is improper training will give teachers the skills they need in order to lead their classrooms in the right direction and not have everything go out of control. As you know, it is extremely easy to have classrooms become chaotic if the teacher allows it. Now, maybe that's what a teacher wants at a certain time for a lesson, but it's really important for that teacher to be able to rein in those kids once they are out of control, to get them to settle down to listen to another lesson, or to completely change the way the classroom is being run. Like one minute you might want them in their desk, and the next minute you want them out looking at things or doing a project in groups. And it is important that they have those leadership skills, and working with the proper training and teacher training that they get through professional development days or through evaluations. They will see how they are doing in their leadership skills, and maybe they need to work on some of those skills. But most of the time, teachers are able to rein in their students and get them to sit down properly when they need to. Now, there's always that one student that may be have a little issue, but for a majority, most teachers can get their kids to sit down and do what they need them to do. But again, that's what having proper teacher training will allow the teachers that confidence in order to get their classrooms in the right direction, so that they are not wasting time trying to quiet down their kids. Micro-teaching is a way for evaluations. It is the lesson viewed by peers or by recording in order to review a teacher's performance in the classroom. This allows the teachers to see what strategies works and what did not. Training often works better when there is a peer feedback without concern of evaluation, and you must be able to give and receive feedback, because it is sometimes a little difficult for teachers to hear that they might not be as strong as they thought they were in one area, which like leadership. So this training will help them realize that, okay, this certain lesson or this strategy that I'm using with this student is not necessarily helping over here. And sometimes, teachers only have two eyes, so they may not necessarily see what's going on in the back corner. And sometimes a video of them teaching will actually get them to see what they have done wrong, or, not necessarily wrong, but what didn't work, or maybe what student wasn't catching on like they had thought they were going to. So it is important to get that feedback, especially without the fear of evaluation, because sometimes teachers, you get so stressed out and worried about your evaluation, and an evaluation should just be that. It should just be telling you how you are doing. It shouldn't necessarily make or break you. But a lot of the times that's what teachers view evaluation as. And that's why a lot of the time micro-teaching does help the teachers to see what they are doing and where they are going. And it's actually really interesting to see videos of how you are teaching. Now, since there is an issue with proper teaching training, the solution to teacher training would be to make time for teacher training. Make sure that it is in the schedule, not necessarily just for the workshops, but also for the other people around. Teacher education is considered a learning problem and should get the proper attention, and they should use empirical evidence to guide policymakers in investment in resources and the proper training. Now, this is a graph that shows the different types of professional development provided to teachers. The most popular is the workshops here. School visits are least. Peer observation is like right in the middle. I think that is actually very important. I think teachers need to use that more often than they do. They should have a teacher come and sit and observe and just give them little feedback and skills, and be able to take that as them helping you, not necessarily that you're doing it wrong, but maybe they have a better idea than you would think of. And that actually happens a lot in the schools. Critical thinking is important. Teachers need to be able to analyze, process, and evaluate arguments. Proper teacher training helps teachers build upon these skills. So like some students, their teachers need to be able to come up with their own answers and solutions and for their proper training and their lessons. It's also important for teachers to be able to think outside the box and adapt different learning styles. So the conclusion is there is a need for proper teacher training in the schools. Teachers need to be kept up to date with the latest and newest technology and teaching trends. They also need to have access to the latest technology in order to manage their classrooms properly. Students will know when they do not have the latest computer, or the students know when what they're learning is 10 years old. That's why it is important to keep using newer and different lesson plans and teacher training. Continuous teacher training helps build confidence, and again, kids will see when there's a confident teacher, the learning environment is just better. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.